Right to a channel of light fluid. Yes, we are heading back to the Minotaur Hotel after actually quite a while according to the saves on here. It's nice to get back to there. And that's kind of all I'm going to say here. It's been an interesting week and a half, so I'm a bit behind on some of these things and on my planning. I'll talk about that later. Let's get back into the story here. A day went by where I didn't ask myself what my dad must have been like. Mom never said a word about him, so I always allowed myself to dream a bit. Not much. See, I was told a legend of the Minotaur. The whole thing with the king and the queen and the bull and the Greek boys and girls sent to the labyrinth. I guess I never let myself stray much from it. So, you spend your life thinking your dad must have been some sort of fucked-in-the-head monster, assuming he even had much of a mind in the first place. You grow up with that idea, right? Everyone makes damn sure you're reminded of it every day. Or people keep telling you what they think your mom did on some farm somewhere. Day in, day out. Never stops. So, forgive me if I act like a piece of shit, alright? It's just, I always assumed that's what my papa must have been, so I'd better follow his lead. As of late, though, I'm having a change of heart. Maybe it's the paperclips and breaking recursion. Maybe it's getting a taste of what city life is like. Or it might be just me getting over my fear of elevators. But I reckon it's because of you. You'd laugh at me if I told you just how good it feels to carry a key and lock a door. It's true. Never had many chances to enjoy just how nice a clicking door feels. Why did I ever get to see what being on a building's 7th floor is like, much less feel the coast breeze on my fur. Though, I'm being honest, there are a lot of other things I wasn't expecting. For instance, when we said we were going to your place, I never imagined you wouldn't have a bed. Or your living room would only have a couch, a TV with a chair sat in front of it in a video game. I also kind of hoped it wouldn't be with you spending the whole day on that couch, or in the same clothes for a whole week, with a huge stinking cheese grease stain on the wall. I'm not complaining though. I love it here. You've done so much for me. Just hope I didn't have a hand in making you like this. I'm back. Pedro? Hi. There's a delay. Things getting rough in your head, I reckon. Eyes shut tight, sitting on the couch. Looked like they'd been there for the entire time I was out. I can see now what kind of weight's on your back. Afraid you just got moodier from the trip to the hinterlands at first. Right, I guess you got troubles of your own. Man, do you. Home hit you like a truck. You didn't touch the video game anymore and just show me how to play it. It feels wrong when you're so miserable, sitting there looking out into empty space. I can see your eyes going dull when you scout for jobs online, when you send emails about that fellowship thing you talked up. It breaks me when your voice cracks up after spending a whole day quiet. Only speak on your dad's phone just to yell at you. Well, I wish I could punch him for doing that. Instead of to greet me like every movement could make you cry. Your eyes were just tired. Blank. I got the groceries and your medicine. Extended release bupropion, right? Yeah, sorry for... You didn't look at me when you took the bag or mutter loud enough for me to hear. You never thought twice about chucking those down in front of me when we were in the hinterlands. Now you take them like you'd die if I saw it. I'm not stupid. I researched it on your computer. There's not much use hiding it now. You shouldn't need to. We're friends, aren't we? You put the groceries away together. After taking a can out of the bag, you just stared at it on the counter like it was taking everything in you to remember where it should go. I'll let you take your time. How did the interview go? Oh, great. Ranger's going to work out. The owner's fine with me taking the baker position. I'm afraid of leaving my fur all over the dough. Tony's business closing down just because of me. I thought maybe if there's something you could do. Or is there some magic to stop my fur from falling in the food?
Afraid there isn't, kid.
So many people used to call me kid back in the hinterlands. I don't think it was ever meant in a nice way. Suppose it isn't too bad coming from someone like you, though. No, it's alright. I got paid for carrying Mrs. Flores' furniture upstairs. I got in there and you lined up with the gas station across the street. I need someone for the graveyard shift. I'm sure it's going to go good. We're also called the music store, and they might have a position in a month or two, because one of the clerks is pregnant. I could take the gas station gig till that's available.
I bet you like the music store. You'll be messing around with the instruments in no time, won't you?
Damn straight. The only reason I won't steal them is because you won't let me.
Yeah, smart kid. Stealing's wrong.
Well, what about the Hail Mary mug?
Yeah, it's different when I do it.
I went and stood shoulder to shoulder with you. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Speaking of, you want me to brew you some coffee?
I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Why?
Dad broke the pot last night.
Oh.
I left that grease stain on the wall, too.
So, the fuck even happened? I was in the restroom when he...
He saw the cheese, and I think it triggered some bad memory from his childhood in the hinterlands. So I ain't gone crazy, just like his dad, and slammed the mocha pot on the counter so hard I wanted to screw now. And he threw the damn cheese against the wall.
Oh, fuck. It was damn good cheese, too.
It stunk up the whole kitchen.
Well, I had it so bad with my mom. I'd rather have her indifference any day over your dad's rage. Once, though, he showed me a video he took of your Gramps before he passed. He had so much warmth in his eyes, he felt like a cartoon. It was as real as they got, though. Real enough that you watched that video over and over again for a few hours after you showed me. Well, your dad's fucked in the head. I sure we shouldn't change the locks.
Just kick it open if I do. Just getting a locksmith here would be too much of a hassle.
You say that about everything. Is there a single goddamn thing that ain't a hassle for you? Look what you've done. Why'd you gotta go kick him while he's down? I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that.
That's alright, I know.
We could try again in a few months, you know. We save up some money and go back. This time with disguises or something. Maybe rent a place for a week. That way no one will be able to snitch on us.
No, I don't think that's the right thing to do.
And what is? I just want to, help. You just giving up on finding the hotel? I'm sure we'd have found it if we had just a little more time. You're just staring at the empty wall, and you slumped on the couch like your strings have been cut. Still don't look at me. Like, just lifting your head was too much. It hurt to see you like that.
Not if it doesn't exist. Saving up money won't be a simple task either.
I looked up what your pills were on your computer, right? Then I looked up some of the ways you've been acting. Tried learning some things about how to treat a man in your position. All of it went over my head, but patience always seemed key, along with respecting boundaries. That's the least I could do after you did so much for me. I went and sat beside you. I looked at you, but you didn't move. I would ask myself what you do, or tell me to do for you back to your usual self. A day I signed up for school. There's this place on the side of town offering nighttime classes for folks who ain't finished high school. And I got some neat metalworking classes too. They even help folks get internships. You sunk deeper into the cushions. Jesus Christ, what now?
Thought that wasn't the kind of high school experience you wanted.
Well, yeah, it ain't. But it still works. Plus, some nicer places take too much time out of the day. And I gotta keep a job if I want to help you pay the bills.
Shouldn't be worrying about that. I promised I'd help you. That money should be going towards your savings.
No, stop that. I'll do what I want with my money, including helping you.
So much for being a responsible adult.
Another lesson you taught me is that sometimes even responsible adults need responsible adults. Say like that you weren't the only adult to ever give a shit about me.
I'm sorry. I just don't think I'm good enough.
You're all the good I ever asked for, though. Even if you slumped like a rag doll, you looked as tense as a spring. Maybe I couldn't do what a head shrinker can, but I can do what friends do, I think. For a bird, you're heavy. Maybe it's just all the dark shit in your head making it hard to hug you. I squeezed you as hard as I damn well could. It's okay. You're okay. Took some time. You wrapped your arms around me too. We stayed like that for I don't know how long. I hope it's long enough. I know how hard things are. I knew then it probably wouldn't help a lot in the long run. I wanted you to know that I was there for you. I still am. That night, gentle sleep welcomed both the Minotaur and you, each in your own bed. The morning, however, would prove to be not so kind. From the depths of the valley came the foreman's meandering song. Asterion had rolled his eyes and snorted at the sound. You, meanwhile, had finished your coffee and steeled yourself for yet another encounter with the snake. Down the stairs. Out the valley entrance. Stand at last beneath those looming statues once more. This time he's coiled at the base of a statue. Poseidon's, one can infer from the trident in its grasp. He looks at you, a smile halfway carved on his face, and rests the wooden flute on his lap.
Good morning, my lord. I do hope I didn't wake you.
It's a bit too early, yes. But that new look of yours makes it worthwhile. Good to see you've finally got some sense.
A pelt, yes. I thought about it for a few nights, and before we get to that, it's been about a week since my last visit, so I wish to know how you and Asterion have been doing. Is everything going well?
Of course, better than ever, in fact. He and I get along quite well, and the hotel is improving with each day. We're even planning on renaming the place to Minotaur Hotel. We'll hold a little ceremony for it. I plan on telling everyone that Asterion is the co-owner of the place. It'll be a grand old time.
Of course. That's so you. Nothing you do surprises me anymore. I know respect for rules and canons, no care for the Olympians' command, and all that. How exceedingly human of you.
That's right. I'm good that you're getting used to my style of management.
Oh, yes.
Argos sighs and drops his gaze to the ground. He fidgets, trying to readjust a pelt that's no longer there, then looks up to the hotel on top of the cliff. So, why have you called me out here today? Argos?
I've spent the last few nights without sleeping, thinking about a thing or two. About you and the prisoner, my own role as Argos. It's hard for me to articulate it all. It's what the labyrinth expects of me, what the Olympians desire, what you've done, and what my own mind yearns for. I'm caught in quite the web of battling wills, you see, made all the more complicated by that armband of yours. Oh, Leo, what were you thinking? I can tell you exactly what I was thinking. Don't bother. I'm not stupid. I know what's up.
Are you sure about that?
As far as I know, there's never been a master who treated Asterion like you do, with so much care and... You hold an affection for him. My guess is that he reciprocates. We're good friends, if that's what you mean. I'm neither blind nor deaf, let alone dumb. You know very well what I mean. I can only wonder then what my purpose should be in this affair. Or what it was. Again he fidgets with the flute in his grip before finally putting it aside. Oh, my lord, it was a pleasure serving you for the little time it lasted. Excuse me, what do you mean by that? Oh, no. I got ahead of myself. We'll get to that in a moment. It's just that I struggle with the words. There's so much about me and my lineage you don't know. We, the Argoi, have secrets unknown even to Asterion. You think back to the pages you picked up the last time you met, and what the crypt in them revealed. A shadow, perhaps, passes over your eyes for a moment, and Argos, despite remaining impassive, notices it. There is one, however, that I'll share with you now. When an Argos mandate begins, we are allowed some freedom to choose how we will conduct our mission. Our autonomy is not insignificant. So I thought and thought all these past nights. As long as you have that arm, man, I cannot fulfill my purpose as torturer. And let's face it, that thing's not coming off. I had to make a decision, you see. What will be my role going forward? And there's only one thing I could think of, my lord. The foreman is under no duty to obey the master's will, but I am allowed to pick that as my mandate. You nurture an affection towards Asterion, and if that is where your heart lies, then I shall do my part to realize your heart's desire. He looks right at you, awaiting your response to his seemingly earnest plea. If this is your honest attempt at making peace, then I appreciate the sentiment. But I don't think there's much you can do to realize my heart's desire. And you can scavenge more of Asterion's favourite wine. That's always welcome. At last, Argos draws him up, stretching his upper body and trapping the tip of his tail in the rocky ground. That's where you're wrong. There is one thing I can do, something which neither you nor Asterion are aware of. Deep in the valley, deeper than you and your employees ever gone, there are things great and unsightly, treasures both profound and frightful. And in one such pocket where the most fearsome beasts roam, there is a hidden cache of ancient texts. These parchments are older than this entire realm. They are the transcripts of Asterion's judgment at the hands of the Olympians. The Minotaur was not allowed to attend his own trial. Can you believe that? The 12 didn't see much value in giving a mortal a chance to speak. But someone transcribed most of it. And a god, Hermes, the counsellor of craft, son of thunderous Zeus the Maya, hid it here, perhaps so that one day a master such as yourself might find them. The Argoi have known of this cache for many centuries, and they have chosen to keep it a secret. But I have decided otherwise, because I believe it is in line with what you desire. Is it? From what I gather, the Olympians disapproved of Asterion. What exactly do we stand to gain by listening to their poison? That's assuming that what you say is even true. Pardon my scepticism, but on the matter of Asterion's well-being, I have good reason to doubt you. You are justified in being suspicious, I understand. But I pray you will listen to all I have to say, for soon my sincerity will be made clear. So, on that matter of Asterion, for thousands of years it is believed that the gods he worshipped abandoned him, correct? That they deemed him unworthy of mercy. That's eaten away at him for all this time. He, of all people. But the transcripts reveal a more complex story, one more forgiving of his deeds. He takes a deep breath in,
lets out in a slow and meandering huff, and then flicks his tongue out.
12 Olympians, plus Lord Hades and Lady Hestia, which makes it 14. 2 abstained, and the remaining was split in half on what to do. I succeeded in smuggling some of the transcripts in his favour here. Those belonging to Hermes, Hestia, and Hades. Asterion's one of Lady Hestia's favourites, so much so she blessed him and swore to uphold her favour forevermore. Which is why her mirror exists. Hermes disapproved of the harshness Olympus imposed on the mortals under them. In his own words, "You throw suffering upon suffering on them, make them toil until their bones can't take it any longer, then spit on their graves a good measure. It's too much, too much." And as for Hades, he made a fine defence of his precious royal guard. He went so far as to threaten the Olympians with the use of force should they interfere in his realm. So the trial ended in a tie, but a technicality was contrived to damn him. Athena, you see, moved that Hestia's and Hades' vote should be discarded. Hestia's because she'd given up her seat among the 12 of Olympus, and Hades because he sent his vote in a letter instead of attending the trial himself. Although Zeus accepted Athena's objection, and Asterion's fate was sealed. Still, Hermes managed to negotiate a measure of influence in the creation of the labyrinth. With that, he sabotaged Athena's plan, put in place all those comforts which you and the prisoner enjoy. Hestia's mirror and the statue of Hades only exist because Hermes negotiated so. As for those contracts you use and abuse, he was the one who paved the way of the implementation. Just think for 1 second how horrible this realm is. I know it could have been 100 times worse had he and the others not intervened. But that is secondary. Just minor details are the one thing you should, must know. Asterion was not forsaken by the gods he worshipped. A great effort was made to spare him from these circumstances, but did not succeed as expected. And so we are here, you and I and all the others, witnesses to this sordid affair. He turns and bends over the rifle around the statue's base, just out of your sight. When he finally draws himself upright once more, the snake has 5 parchments in his grip. Argos gestures you to approach. When you do, he offers them to you with a low bow. Here, the transcripts, proof of all I've said. I smuggled the ones I could. The trip was fraught with risk, so I could not be overburdened. I managed to get the transcripts with 2 more gods. They might not be favourable towards Asterion, but you strike me as someone who will get his hands dirty to find the whole truth. The rest are still there in that cache. I took the liberty of adding a map and instructions, so your employees should be able to find it. All the parchments have a peculiar texture to them. All seemingly fragile, but warm to the touch and firm. Each one has a wax seal affixed to it, identical to the one stamped on the hotel's deed. As soon as your eyes fall upon the script, all the ancient letters shift into focus. Their meaning and contents are laid bare to you. How can I know these documents are real? This isn't just another one of your tricks. That wax seal, aren't you familiar with it? It is the mark of a primordial contract. Documents left behind by the gods on this realm's creation. None of us, not you, me, or Asterion, are capable of falsifying that seal. If you don't believe me, you'll hear the same from him, should you show him the transcripts. Then why? Just a few weeks ago you were trying to push me into sending Asterion out here to get attacked by whatever it is that roams the valley. Now you're telling me you went out your way to get him these transcripts, to make him feel better about what happened? Why are you doing all this? Now that is a good question. Why did Argos betray his mission to torture the prisoner and choose instead to reveal to him such a dire secret? That's such a good question. Just what could make me change so much so quickly? Argos' gaze meets yours. Open and shameless, he searches for a spark of recognition, or perhaps insight. For a moment you think back to the transcript you decrypted.
and the briefest change in your eyes is enough to alert him. Argos swallows the lump in his throat. His tongue darts out once, twice, before he coils his tail around himself. He breathes out, and with it comes a whimper. I've lost something very dear to me, Leo. And I think you know what I'm talking about. Do I? The snake tries to glare at you, but can't quite seem to work up the will. Please, don't. I've been so sick with grief and fear I barely slept at all for the last week. I don't own much. There's much at all to own in this land. So tell me, what can I have left? Oh, Master, it's you. You and that beautiful humanity burning in your chest are all that I have left. Let's not mince words. You love Asterion and seek to protect him from me. But even so, you still offered me kindness. Serving you is all that I have. But beyond that, I chose to bring you the transcripts because you... You are the only one in this realm to ever show me kindness. I want to do one good thing for you on Asterion, so that at least I can leave a parting gift you might fondly remember me by. Parting gift? Wait, what's going to happen to you? What happens to a tool that's no longer useful? To salt that loses its flavour? To a slave who cannot perform his role? To one whose purpose has been utterly destroyed? I'll return to my place of birth, Leo. And that'll be it. The end. His place of birth. Of course. The snake's gaze becomes soft and shy, like the leaves of the dittany tree by the statue of Lord Hades. He opens his mouth to say something, but it's cut short of a flash of anxiety that brings him to the brink of a coughing fit. When he looks up to you again, there is fear of what you might know, what you and your men may have uncovered about him. You allow the silence to linger. Every passing second twists the knife and brings the snake closer to the end of his wits. His heart wrenches. His face contracts in pangs of agony with every beat, until it becomes too much to bear. Is there something on your mind, my lord? I'm just thinking about that birthplace of yours. Do what you must. The birthplace of all Argoi. Your home and that of your dear grandfather. That island in the middle of the Mediterranean where a certain prince was born. Isn't that right, Dominikos of Crete? The foreman draws a breath, and his chest tightens. A tornado rages within him, dredging up all the unsightly things the gods saw fit to create. All the stagnation of 100 lifetimes steeped in blood, the soul-killing defilement imposed by a dishonest sentence. The deception, lies mandated by the gods, cursed by all who know the true face of justice, and now defeated once and for all. And at last, memories. I think Papuli will be smiling down you as he watches your mandate, Nikos. The tornado rages until the knot of the snake's throat is undone, and then Dominikos' eyes open, soft as a newborn calf's. Very well, you've won. So I guess there's no need for pretense, Leo. Just so you know, no one but my parents calls me Dominikos. That's only when they're really furious with me. You can call me Nikos. Layers upon layers of disguise fall away, so the snake were taking off his costume and cleaning away his makeup. All that's left now is the performer. I come from a small village in Asithi, Crete's easternmost region. I'm the son of Nikolaos and grandson of Christos, who was the Argos before me. Like an actor at a curtain call, Nikos bows to you. Dominikos, your Argos panoptes at your service. So, what? You'll just bow, and that's it? I know. Since I lost those pages, and from the start I suspected you took them, I put a lot of thought in what I do if you were to learn of their contents. The Argos you've come to know is just a character I was assigned to interpret, but much of what I said is true beyond the role I played. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with what Argos demanded of me, not after living in this valley and getting to know you, and even less after reading the transcripts. So I'll tell you the truth, as much of it as I can. Good, because you have a lot of explaining to do. Nikos looks up to the hotel while drawing in a breath. A swarm of hummingbirds peck the back of his neck as he gathers the words for his betrayal. I'd better start at the beginning. He clears his throat and speaks, even and toneless, as though he's reciting from memory. About 2,000 years ago there came a master, Joseph the Merciful, as he was called, who saw fit to put an end to Asterion's misery. The gods were strong back then, and when they became aware of this heresy, an effort was made to intervene, but the laws of the land forbade them. The snake shifts on its coils as his eyes refocus upon you. Do you remember that document I gave you a week ago? The Constitution of the Labyrinth? When this realm was created, an overseer was picked from among the gods. This deity alone had permission to enter the labyrinth and intervene in its matters. As I showed you today, not all of the Olympians agreed with Asterion's sentence, and the overseer was one of them. But there was another duty, an oath which had been sworn upon the river Styx. And so, left without a choice, the overseer set about finding an exploitable loophole. If Olympus demanded something be done to set the masters back on the righteous path, would it be natural then to send in someone who could teach them how it's done? Someone to fulfill the gods' commandments, while allowing the masters and Asterion to continue on as they pleased under the new tradition set by Joseph the Merciful. That's how the Argoi were instituted. And to complete the charade, we were given a certain level of independence from the overseer, so that they would not suffer any consequence of our failure to torture Asterion. Each generation Argos is picked by the overseer and given loose instructions, but as soon as we arrive here, we're on our own. If that's true, then why is Asterion so afraid of you? Did any of your predecessors bring him harm? Well, we are given some leeway in how to play our role, and over the centuries there's been much disagreement over what that role should even be. Let's just say there are Argoi who put more focus on enforcing Asterion's sentence than following the overseer's instructions. We weren't meant to ever injure him ourselves, but I don't agree with what many of my predecessors did. Suffice it to say, Asterion has good reason to fear Argos. So, to summarise, the Argoi are a tradition. For centuries now my people have performed the role, changing it ever so slightly with each generation. We play that role to appease Olympus, so that harsher intervention does not come. And all the while most of us try to be ineffective as is plausible. If what you're saying is true, then there's no Argos before the hotel was created. That's exactly right. The Argoi didn't exist before Joseph the Merciful. There was no need for such an institution. It's a very peculiar term you keep using. Institution. What exactly do you mean by that? We are an institution in every sense of the word. We have rules, customs, traditions. There are trials to pick the next Argos, festivities before and after, and accounts of elders to organise everything. We even have a temple back in my village which acts as a sort of headquarters. All the people involved in it are snakes like me, of course. A whole village of snake people? Well, not everyone, but we do make up a sizable amount of the population. And all of you really descendants of the Argos Panoptes? Oh, you're finally putting it together. We are not. That was a bold-faced lie. I'm actually surprised no previous master realised it. The original Argos Panoptes was a giant with 100 eyes, right? But Lord Hermes, son of Maia, killed him to save Zeus' lover, Io. However, the giant was a servant of Lady Hera, daughter of lovely-haired Rhea. After his death, she preserved his eyes on the tails of peacocks. Nikos looks down at his arm, and uses the finger of his other hand to trace over one of his eye-shaped markings. Thankfully, our scales have these spots, which do look at least somewhat like eyes. That's the real reason why we were picked for the role. That's been enough to convince the masters so far. But for centuries now, we've been afraid of someone connecting the dots and figuring out we aren't the real heirs of Panoptes. So in that case, what are you? He looks to you, draws himself up and speaks in a proud voice. I am a Cadmean snake, a descendant of Cadmus and Harmonia, the founders of thieves who were turned into snakes. Incidentally, Cadmus was Europa's brother, and she in turn is Asterion's ancestor. I know it doesn't look like it, but he and I are cousins. Oh, distant, yes, but related nonetheless. But back to the topic of the Argoi. Despite everything that stayed the same, the very nature of what it means to be Argos has started to change rapidly over the past few generations. Remember how I told you upon starting his tenure, the Argos is given the chance to pick his mandate? Well, for mine, I knew that you'd be good. Even before I came to this land, I was sure that would be the case. And it was. And so, as my mission, I chose to act as your honour-bound deceiver, who would instruct you on how to abuse the realm's laws, so that you may do what is right of your own will. And the Overseer, they approved of my mission. They christened me as your Argos and delivered me one final assignment. The Overseer wants to put a definitive end to Asterion's torture. They seek a permanent solution that will both preserve the hotel and push it into becoming a true haven for mankind. Nikos' expression becomes melancholy as he takes another slow breath. In, hold, out. Which, to bring us back to the original point, is why I'm leaving you. The original plan was me to stay here for a few more months, anywhere between 6 to 12, however long it take me to instruct you. But when I informed the Overseer about the armband, they were impressed by how much progress you and Asterion had made in so little time. They changed their mind and decided to expedite their plan. I told her I'd accomplished my purpose, and that as a reward I'd be liberated from my duty prematurely. The original plan is that you would be tested for the duration of my stay here, then more would be revealed to you in 10, maybe 15 years. But even without the news of the armband, I get the feeling that the Overseer's in a hurry. They've been awfully urgent in their commands lately. Something's going on behind the scenes. I just don't know what. So, I'm sorry, I'm still trying to wrap my head around all this. You've been on our side this whole time? My lord and liege, it's almost as if, indeed, I was your most loyal servant all along. Tell me, would you have been more suspicious of Asterion had I not been here? A shameless trickster of a snake who slithers up to your doorstep while flaunting all sorts of evil deeds and pulling every deceitful tactic in the book to scam you. A fiend who confesses to every foul thing a good soul should find utterly reprehensible. A villain hell-bent on bringing harm to the poor prisoner, that fragile humanitarian who only wants to offer shelter to those lost souls in his hotel up above. The more disgusting I was, the easier it would be for you to appreciate him, wouldn't you say? And so you got the perfect chance to show your true character. But make no mistake, no matter how much the Overseer and I conspired in your favour, we couldn't anticipate how far you would go. I don't know the full extent of their plan, but my guess is they want to see how benevolent and trustworthy you were before revealing themselves. The snake lets out a weak laugh, shaking his head and kneading his brow. I admitted defeat when you mentioned my name, but in truth this was more of a heads I win, tails you lose scenario. Oh, Leo, you are wonderful. The more you opposed Argos, the more my admiration for you grew. His gaze meets yours, starry-eyed and smiling. Then, like a flower withering, Nikos' face falls once more. That said, I can't say for sure that I'm comfortable with playing this role anymore. As I said, my grandfather was the Argos before me. He was assigned to assist Master Jean-Marie of Bordeaux.
Upon that man's untimely demise, he was called again to serve Clement. I grew up hearing stories all about all the Argoi. I was told that taking this position was a great honour, something noble, nothing less than realising the will of the gods. And what I was told, I got the impression it would be like assuming a role for a play. I'd be the moustache-twirling villain who'd spur the good and kind hero to do the right thing. But in my stay here, I've learned a lot. Even if everything went well with you, I can't shake this horrible fear that things could have gone horribly if you'd given in to my treachery. I know what I am. An actor at best, a liar and trickster at worst. If you had any sympathy for me for this conversation, I understand it might all be gone now that you know the full extent of my role. But an invisible fist clenches around his throat. He coughs and swallows and scrubs at the wet heat gathering in his eyes with a forearm. It was true, okay? I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't even know what was Argos and what was me. I came here ready to play the villain, but I didn't know how real it'd be. I was hoping you'd be a hero just like in the legends, and you were. You are. You're just a regular person. There's no divine ichor in you, but you are the hero my grandpa and I waited for. You repaired the hotel, healed Asteron. Every time I gave you a trial, you found the twist. By the 12, I couldn't contain my excitement. You found the loophole in my direction to make a sacrifice to a god-made shrine. And that was true. When you showed me kindness, I couldn't control myself either. And that was me, Nikos, not Argos. I know the kind of monster I was playing. I know that what I did was wrong. But even then you had kindness in you. I couldn't let that pass. So I got you the Constitution, then I searched for the transcripts. Because if being Argos was a lie, my gratitude is real. And when I saw that monster, the effigy of infamy, when it attacked me, that was real too, and so was my fear. I explored the valley's depths. I saw things far worse than that creature, and that's why. With a faint hiss, he settles onto his own coils. I can't do this anymore. I've seen too much. I can't just go on pretending that sending Asteron out here is okay. And as for my mission, I want you to do the right thing. The Overseer wanted me to push you into being good to Asteron, to find a definitive solution to this problem. And you are the best master so far. By the 12, I believe it. But when I came here and learned what being the Argos is really like, I understood my role asked horrible things of me. I could have injured Asteron terribly. Things could have gone so much worse. But they didn't. Because of you. Because you did the right thing. You didn't just help Asteron the guests in your hotel. You saved me too. And that's real. I regret being the Argos and coming here. I should never have done it. I don't regret knowing and serving you. And by the 12, every time I see your armband, I have to stop myself from crying, because you've done it, what no master before has accomplished, and I was part of it. I am your Argos, and even with the whole horrible things this role entails, I was able to take part in one unequivocally good thing. But it also hurts, because being the Argos was important to me, to my family. My grandpa spent the remainder of his life talking about it. And now, I don't think there'll be another Argos, because it doesn't make sense anymore. As long as the Master has the armband, there's no reason for us to exist. By the 12, this is my fault. There might never be another Argos. I destroyed everything. I'm a disgrace. Despite his words, Nikos is smiling. But I don't regret it. Because maybe the Argoi really should end. Maybe that's what's right and what the Overseer wants. It may be possible to find a permanent solution to save Asteron. If that means the end of our tradition, then so be it. And no matter what happens, I'm proud of having served a master like you. I was a liar, But all of this is real. And just telling you all of this puts me in danger, but I can't keep being Argos. It's just not who I am. So, I'm sorry, Leo. I'm sorry for everything. And I understand you can't forgive me, which is why I had to do all this. You won, and so here's your victory. Your kindness killed the last Argos, and I'm all that's left. You look the snake up and down, truly seeing him for the first time. Dominikos of Crete, a young, scared, regretful man, far from his home and farther out of his depth. But that doesn't excuse the lies, the deceit, the torment he and his predecessors had put Asterion through, all in the name of some unknown god's secret plan. The scales tilt one way and then the other. What is right? What is just? At last, when the snake thinks his pounding heart might tear itself apart in an anxious fit, you speak. Well, that's certainly a lot to take in. I'm going to think about all of this. It's only fair that Asterion hears it too. His entire body stiffens, then trembles like a bough caught in a gale. No, please. I'm already breaking several commandments by telling you all this. If the Overseer hears of you revealing these secrets to Asterion and realizes I told you, then... His shaking grows more intense. Every breath comes from in panicked hyperventilation. Hey! You hold your hands up to make calming gestures to the snake. Your voice steady and firm as the rock he can grasp to anchor himself in the whirling tide. You wait until Nikos has swallowed down the bile burn in his throat and shaken away the hummingbird's peck in the back of his neck. Only then do you resume talking, soft and soothing. I understand your position, Nikos. I see both your mistakes and what you did to address them. And to me, that says there's still hope for you. But forgiving you is up to Asterion, not me. The snake bows his head to you, keeping his guilt-ridden gaze downcast. A sentence commuted. A judgment deferred. Or perhaps better withheld, till the defendant may face the one who's truly been wronged. So this is your brand of justice, Master Leo. Your eyes are pulled upwards, the shadow of a vulture flying high in the otherwise empty sky. It cries out once, twice, until from beyond the cliff comes a second shadow. The pair comes together to circle over you. Together let out one final wail, then fly towards the hotel and beyond sight. Just like you, Nikos gazes at the two birds, but his eyes are filled with both puzzlement and distant familiarity. His hand almost rises upward, as though trying to reach out, but gives up as the both of you realize how late it's getting. Is this the last time I'll see you? I believe so, unless the Overseer changes their mind. Can't you visit after all this is done? I doubt I'll be authorized to. Nikos stares at the ground, the battle of his warring thoughts playing out over his shifting countenance, and he opens his mouth to speak once more. Before I go, there's just a few things I'd like to say. I know you'll tell Asterion all of this, as well you should. If he learns the truth, I think there'll be a reason of the Argoi to keep existing. I may be the last Argos Panoptes. Perhaps this realm's better off without snakes. I hope Apuli would agree with me. But please, I have a request. Please wait a while before letting him know. A month or two would be enough. Reading the secret of the Argoi to the Master is the gravest of all taboos. Should it be known I told you all of this, I don't know what will happen to me, but I'm afraid it'll be worse than just death. I shouldn't have told you any of this, but I did it because I really do regret what I did. Because I believe this will further the Overseer's plan. They want to see you and Asterion safe, for the hotel to reach its full potential. If you believe just one thing I've said to you, then believe that. The Argoi have been wretched monsters, yes, but if we put you to stop worse things from coming to pass, the Overseer had no other choice. For thousands of years they've been conspiring in the Minotaur's favour. So please forgive them, and there's one more thing you need to know. Remember you received a letter from Clement? Yes, it shook Asterion to his core. Well, it wasn't from Clement. He's been dead for months now. I don't know who sent you that letter, but I can assure you it wasn't him. However, he digs through his coils and pulls out another folded parchment. Without meeting your gaze, he offers it to you. Before I go, I wrote a letter of my own to Asterion. I wanted to ask if you'd deliver it for me. An apology. Not for what my predecessors did, I can't speak for them, but for my own actions. An apology? From you? Yes, it's the least I can do after everything that's happened. He can do whatever you like after you give it to him. Burn it, tear it up, crumple it up and throw it back out here. But if he does read it, then I hope that, maybe not now, but someday, he might find it in him to forgive me. All right. With a nod to him, you accept his letter. All the anxious hell breath bursts out from him in one gust. Thank you. Well, I guess that's it then. Seems he can no longer bear to look at you. The snake turns away to stare in that god's forsaken valley where he spent the duration of his time as Argos Panoptes. Oh, wait. Though Nikos doesn't glance your way, the shittering of his coils indicates that he's listening. Nikos, who's the overseer? His tail stiffens and then taps on the ground. Who do you think it is? We have a limited number of people likely. I'm going to go with someone I suspect we've met. Unless I'm wrong, in which case this could be wrong. Who knows? Let's go with Hermes. Is that so? Interesting. Well, thank you for letting me know your guess. There still remain so many lingering questions to ask him. So many things left to say to the foreman, to your Argos, the man who's played your most loyal servant. However, there's only one thing left to do. Only one thing you can do. Hey. He doesn't react to your footsteps moving up behind him. When your hand lands on his shoulder, he flinches. You pull him towards you and wrap your arms around him. It takes the snake a moment to realise what you're doing. You're giving Nikos a hug. Just like that time all those weeks ago, you feel his tail coiling around you from behind. He buries his snout in your shirt and murmurs so quietly you have to strain your ears to hear. Thank you, Leo. All the masters who creates this realm. I'm glad I got to play as your Argos. He clings to you for a moment longer and slips out of your embrace. And just like that, he's gone, with no rustling from the brush or sound of his scales brushing the sand. As if the cursed earth itself opened up to swallow him, leaving no trace that Argos Panoptes, the Minikos of Crete, was ever there. At last, the actor has left the stage. With the parchment and Argos letter in hand, you ascend back up the stairs to the hotel. You have much to think about and much more to discuss with Asterion, but you don't want this to weigh on his mind the rest of the day. You both have things to do. You're about to start making plans for the day when you notice a note left on your desk, neatly folded and crudely written. Leo, these little things occurred to me at the time. Perhaps you may find some humour or pleasantness in them as well. Epigrams to remember on occasion. You flip the note over. An unknown secret muse, it seemed, inspired your acts. You made an art of friendship, sir.
If master suits you not, nor king nor lord, what words are left which still yet accurate could be? My judge, my chief, director, head. You force my hand to stranger terms with such restrictions, overlord of mine. You make yourself the conqueror, the patriarch, authority of all, Tyrannos, Shah. Please understand my simple wish to call my lord my master, nothing more or less. You neatly fold the note back and return to your plans with a smile on your face. So, what are we going to do today? I haven't spoken to Robert for a while. Let's see how he's doing. Robert gives you a knowing look. Are you having a nice day, I assume? Indeed. Reckon always get better. Tell me, what brings you today, Leo? During our last conversation, you talked a bit about Asterion's soul. What exactly do you know about it? Can demons see souls? I can glimpse a bit of it, yes. It is not my speciality. Most of my kind do possess this skill. It doesn't reveal, however, your character, morals, or misdeeds. What we see is what one's soul is made of, and a few other traces. So, it is Asterion's soul you would like to learn about? Yes. If memory serves, you said he has humanity, but it's mixed. Ah, yes. His is the most peculiar soul. It's been puzzling me a great deal. He has a very strong humanity in him. Tempered, resilient, prodigious even. It seems so exceptionally old as well. I struggle to even guess his age. He looks like he's at the peak of his youth, but that soul feels nothing short of ancient. If I had to wager a guess, I'd say he's been through many harsh things that often weathers one's spirit prematurely. That said, there's a lot more to be glimpsed about him, things yet more puzzling. He has a touch of divinity, and a very ancient one to boot. But it's almost as if it had been sucked out of him. What do you mean? I struggle to articulate it. I've never seen anything of the sort. It's like his divinity has become anemic, or was bled out of him. There should be more, but its absence has left a gap. When I gaze deeply into it, if you allow my impertinence, it goes so far as to unsettle me. And yet, he seems altogether unfazed by it. I can only wonder what happened, for I'd never have the courage to ask him directly. Would you happen to know something about it? I wish I did. We are partners, there's much I don't know about him. Well, it's my place to share everything, but you're correct when you guess that he went through many harsh things. Poor thing. At least he has you around. Excuse me? Your presence soothes him. I don't need to see into his or your soul to know it. I suppose I can take that as a compliment? You should. Kindness is a virtue, Leo, and so is humanity. Robert raises his drink, then gulps it down. The second it takes him to down it, the glass surface becomes foggy as his body heat reaches its contents. He snorts, and the earth-shaking rumble comes out of his chest. One would guess it's involuntary, as Robert himself tries to quiet down by covering his mouth. When his quaking chest subsides, he looks back to his cup. Just a drop remains, but it disappears in front of your eyes as Robert's heat evaporates it. Pardon my manners. My kind was not made to be particularly quiet, despite our humanity. It's all right. If you don't mind, what exactly do you mean by that? In our last conversation, I mentioned that my people are similar to mankind, did I not? I meant it literally. We are made of humanity. The demons of Nuremberg were sculpted with a core of dark, gentle humanity, meant to give us compassion, and encased in a shell of harsh, magmatic chaos to act as armour. Humanity, Leo, is a very real thing. If you ever see me injured, you shall witness it then, that which makes us similar.
As inquisitive as I may be, I can't say my curiosity extends that far. I prefer if no guests are ever injured in this establishment.
How delightfully human of you, as expected from one carrying a soul so exceedingly human.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, I've said too much already. Your curiosity will go unsated this time. Don't take this as a rejection, however. I want to make it clear that I enjoy conversations. I'm happy you speak so frankly with me. Don't be afraid of asking questions. After all, humanity grows stronger when it's shared.
When you leave it a while later, you feel warm. It'd seem you've made a friend. It's checking it on the R&D team. Progress, nothing done. Exploration, 7 raw materials. Oh, and I just love how happy Wolf looks with this. Something else. A petroglyph. Another day of good work has come to an end. So mount the staircase, hum the song, and retire to your quarters and evening of repose. The prince is already there, bustling around the apartment to take care of whatever evening chores come to mind. He greets you, and you exchange small talk while you settle onto the sofa. When he's finished straightening and dusting the various baubles on the shelves, he joins you. You sit in companionable silence with your business partner and close, dear friend. Asterion shifts, scratches his cheek and looks at you.
A penny for your thoughts, Leo.
The topic has been broached, and so there's no reason to delay any longer. I wanted to talk with you about an important subject. Now, don't worry, it's nothing bad. In fact, I'd go so far as to say it might be nothing short of extraordinary. But it's also important and delicate, so I'd like your full attention and honesty.
I'm listening.
Remember our conversation last week when we were stargazing? When we talked about Clement's letter? For a moment you think about bringing up what Nikos told you about that letter. That'll be an entire conversation in itself, and you have a point you want to make beforehand. So you keep your face a neutral mask. One revelation at a time, and only in due time. You asked yourself if you had the right to feel angry over what Clement did, because, in your words, it was what the gods intended for you.
I remember that conversation, yes.
And you told me then what Clement did was fair, because it's what the gods wanted.
Yes.
Now, what would you do if I could prove that false? At least some of the gods didn't want to put you here in the first place. The Minotaur digs his fingers into his thigh to calm down the hummingbird's peck in the back of his neck.
I do not think I follow.
Let's say I can prove to you that some of the gods didn't want any of this for you. That they thought you were innocent and tried to stop this whole realm from existing in the first place. If I could prove that to you, what would happen?
Hypothetically, it may make my sleep 1,000 times more restful. Aside from that, I don't know what else would change.
It would at least make you feel better then.
Yes, it would be one more miracle added to the mountain of blessings you have brought me. But allow me to build on top of your hypothetical. If you manage to prove those things you say, what do you want from it?
If anything, I'd like to accept that you're good. You don't deserve to be a servant. Would you let go of seeing yourself as a prisoner and accept the way I see you? That's what I want.
That is sweet of you. I wish you could do what you're saying. Despite all the miracles you performed so far, I struggle to imagine this happening.
Why?
Because there's no way you could possibly prove those things. I know for a fact that the gods sentenced me to this realm. But by all means, you are welcome to try all you desire. If previous experience is to be believed, nothing you do can bring sorrow, even were you to attempt the impossible. Very well. Came across a particular set of documents today. Before we go any further, could you tell me what this seal on them means? You hand one the parchment to the hybrid. Asteron glances it over, and he gives it another, more thorough look. His eyes widen. This is the seal of primordial law. The oldest documents in the realm have it. Those written and left behind by the gods. It makes them indestructible. Like regular contracts, possibly irrevocable and impossible to be amended. So you'd say this document definitely is real? It hasn't been falsified? As far as I know, no one, not even you, can recreate such a thing. Now, whether or not its contents are truthful is a different matter. The seal speaks of its authenticity, but even an authentic document can have lies written upon it. What is this all about? It's something Argos found in the valley. He mentioned they came from a cache of treasures hidden deep in it. He told me these are transcripts from the trial the Olympians held to judge you. To be more precise, among these are Hestia's, Hades' and Hermes' votes, in your favour. They tried to get you acquitted. And although Argos didn't have all of them with him, he told me that the transcripts revealed that Hermes found a way to leave things here which would help you. Hestia's mirror and Hades' statue, for example, they're gifts from those two. Why would Argos give this to you? Very strange. I told him I'm not able to send you out and he took it badly. Today he came around and had a very different attitude. He said he wanted to serve me, and seeing as I care about you, he's willing to, well, cooperate with promoting your well-being. He even gave me a letter meant for you, an apology. You make no mention of what you learned about the Argoi today. Learning about the transcript is already too much for a single day, and Nikos did ask you to keep the secret for a while longer. It would be prudent to remain patient on this matter. Asteron takes the envelope from your hand. He slaps it on the table. Somehow I find that hard to believe. So, what do you think? Asteron taps his hooves on the floor. His gaze drifts over the window, to his room, and then finally to you. I'm not sure what to believe. If these so-called transcripts are truthful, then... But knowing they came from Argos, I am suspicious. I'll need some time to research and to think about this matter. Take all the time you need, buddy. I'm sorry if this brings any distress. That's not my intention. Perish the thought. You bring me only joy. Well, that was interesting. We will see what happens in the next build. We can see how long that is. I might try to get to the next chapter a little sooner, because I think that brings us to the end of the current build once I get done. So we might get caught up finally with Minotaur Hotel, and we'll then have to wait for the next build to come out whenever that is. I'm not quite sure. I know they're working on it, but that is something that'll happen sometime. I'll take a look at it when I can. As for what comes up next, I have absolutely no clue. As I said, it's been quite a lot to do with the past couple of week and a half or so. I'm not going to go into detail, but it did throw my plans off a bit, especially for some spooky stories. So I'm going to try and get a couple of those out next week, then something special for Halloween. And my schedule actually stops with Minotaur Hotel. I had not figured out what was going to happen next week, so I'll be working on that. And so if you're a patron, you'll find out as soon as I know what's going on. I'll edit my post about this video and tell you then. Otherwise, you'll find out next weekend, probably next Saturday. I'll be recording. There's no D&D then, so that will be a surprise for all of us next Saturday. And as usual, when I wrap up, I want to say thank you to all my donors on Ko-fi and Patreon. You are so appreciated, and your help in supports me I'm not going to talk about yet, but there's a couple of things that are going to be happening. One, when I can figure it out, will actually be affecting the channel. Just a small change, nothing major. It's more cosmetic, but I'm looking forward to having a quick change made to introduce these videos. Might be a while, I'm not sure, but I'm going to work on that.
But as always, as I say, thank you to all my donors on Ko-fi and Patreon, with no asides this time, especially my top patrons, who are Andy Peng, Samuto, Omar, Nova Starburn, Harvest Mouse Productions, Bieka, Kartek, Kovis Vissa, Lexi Bucciarati, Bastian, Tiger Cup, Ryan Hall, Edda Corval, Anubis Silverwind, Dissonance, Grizz, Spiderling, Kopi, Sindri Dragowolf, Evan King, Exact, Aaron Fox, and Mohammed Al Zamel. Special thanks to all of them, and thanks to all of you who support the channel. So until our story sometime in the week, thanks for watching. Bye for now.